Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Maddie.
Hey, okay.
Oh, you're here.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Monday.
Okay. Does someone want to go? It's recording, yeah? Okay, cool. Nice.
Okay, so who wants to volunteer?
I have a question.
Sure.
Do we need to also share our questions for differentiation?
I think we have to share it
I
all and
think
just
so.
discuss.
Yeah.
Differentiation, sorry.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I put mine
So
in
to be,
like a case study to show you.
So we need to show our 3 case studies first
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and just read them and then just choose one and discuss one.
Mm-hmm.
For
like
each,
of us one. Okay.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the 3 case studies and then we'll, eliminate the 2.
Okay. So Maddie came the last one, so she starts.
I should go first.
Okay. So I
Not
only
really fair, right?
fair.
You're not late, but
I actually I only have one presented ready for you guys. So I'm just gonna show you that one because I didn't. Oh, here it is. Hold on. Not that. This.
Okay.
Okay. So I wasn't sure the kind of not the way that we wanted to show, but I just threw this in it. Okay, so the one that I am sharing with you guys, his name is Bill. He is in my class currently. I teach K2, which is kindergarten, they're 425. He is from China. He had to pass an entry English exam to get into the international school that I work at. But he failed and then they bypassed him into my class and put him into my class with a mix of Thai, Chinese, and other Korean students. He is shy and does not speak any English, but he can chat with the other Chinese students in my class and answer some simple questions. But he also does not participate in class since he cannot understand me or my TAs. And even little simple things like going to the bathroom, he can't really say or ask me. He talks to his other Chinese friends. So that's Bill. So some of my questions that I kind of gathered were how am I going to figure out and create a curriculum that reaches all of my students' needs, including my students whose English level is very low, being in my class with everyone's on the same level except for him. What are some barriers in the classroom that might interfere with my differentiated students reaching their goals? Seeing how the kids work. So my thought process with that was maybe seeing how the kids work together, either by themselves, if he works together by himself, with a partner, or in a small group. Because I have, since I'm so the school year is so new, last year I had a kid who worked really well one-on-one with a teacher. So I would want to see where Bill's at with that and test him on that. How to offer options to keep all my students engaged, him as well, not knowing, maybe not understanding what I am saying, and how to match them, going back to the groups, how to match them up if I were to partner them up or put them in a group with other students. And then can you read this? So I kind of also went along with I'll decide how to differentiate students by either putting them into a group with similar skills or in a group that has a wide variety of levels of skills, putting some strong kids together who have very strong English levels and maybe the weaker kids together or have like a mixture of them in a group so they can help and learn from each other. And then when students are given more options on how they like to learn, they're able to understand the material better. And then another thing I just said was, when I do this, we'll determine what their strengths and weaknesses are in the different subject areas. Anything? I wasn't quite sure how we're supposed to come about this, but this is kind of what I gathered from the activity, more or less.
I have a question about your school.
Yeah.
How big is your school actually?
400 kids, preschool to grade 12.
So it's not a really big school, because I'm interested, how does the school see him learning when he doesn't know any English?
Right.
And what support are they gonna provide? Because he needs someone that maybe extra classes of English, a Chinese teacher that can speak English and teach him the because it's also it's not only the lessons that he needs to learn but it's also the social, how to interact with the kids and how to make friends when he's super shy and he doesn't speak any English. So yeah, that's the question to the school.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Then again, it could be a case of pushed output. So if he's put into a situation where he's forced to actually use English, I mean, that's what happened with my daughter. We threw her into Chinese public school when she was 7 years old, and now she's fluent. And also because she had a nanny who only spoke Chinese, and I think it was that pushed output that really helped her. And she didn't get any special help in any way. The teacher actually said, we're not going to treat her any differently from the other kids. And so she was kind of forced to acquire the language, because he's about 7 years old, right? This kid, Bill?
He's 5.
Oh, 5.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Quite young.
Quite young. Yeah. But a lot of the time, I feel like it's learning by doing, kind of being forced into it. You kind of just go along with the motions of the day, and then you'll eventually maybe pick it up.
I have another question. How many other Chinese kids are there in the class?
2.
2. Okay.
Oh.
That's a pity.
Yeah.
Because if they weren't there, then he wouldn't be able to rely on them.
Exactly.
And how many times do they need to do ESL? Is it every day, certain
English
time?
every day. Yeah. But then all the other subjects are in English as well.
Right.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think it's going to be challenging for this kid, especially if it's zero English.
For sure.
Yeah.
But if he wants to survive, he will learn.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How is he with the other kids? Is he playing with them, or is he quite reserved around them?
He's reserved around he only plays with the Chinese kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's not really branching out, and I have moved him around the room and stuff. But
yeah, I think that's gonna be, kind of tough if he's more comfortable with just speaking Chinese.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Who's next?
Who's gonna be next? I can go next. Who wants to go next?
Okay.
Alphabetical joke. Okay, I'll go next. Okay, I'll share my screen. Host disabled participants. Okay. Okay, maybe you can let me.
Oh, you can. You should be able to share.
Okay. Okay, let me.
Right. I have no idea.
Okay, can you see it now?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so my case study is actually like I chose these 3 students because I had the privilege to work with them before I left my previous school. So first one is Ryan. So Ryan is actually an interesting boy, but he's a preschool. When he came to school, he was preschool. And then he's a Chinese boy with special needs and diagnosed with autism. So it's really a challenging for both the school and the parents and the student itself too, because like my old school, we don't, like my previous school, we don't have the facility to cater this kind of case. So it's like we need to think about different ways how to, you know, to teach this kid, because it's totally different way of doing it. So Ryan is with, I cannot.
Maybe hit present. 'Cause we only see
Sorry.
the first page.
Oh, present. Okay. Where can I see the present? Oh my goodness, this is.
Um,
Well, maybe I'll do it again, eh?
I'm not sure. I don't see.
The first page you can see or no?
Yeah,
Can you see? The next one, no?
no, just the first one. Just the one that says case studies and then your name.
Hmm. That's interesting. Sorry, maybe I will stop share and do it again. Can you see it now? Oops.
We can see your chat.
That's crazy. I'm so sorry because I'm not really used to using Zoom. So it's not there yet anymore? Still?
We can still see your
in a group
chat. Yeah.
Oh, so maybe I can just, oh, so sorry.
It's all right. I think I'm going to be the same. I'm not used to Zoom either.
This is my first time also like
I
doing
know.
Zoom.
Wait, I don't want to take a lot of time trying to figure this out. Oh, gee.
Like, we can cut this maybe.
Yeah. Stop sharing again.
Okay.
And then go back to your screen, go back to your presentation, and then hit on that for sharing.
I'll go back to share screen, right?
Share screen, but share your, there's like a little box that pops up and you should be able to share your PowerPoint on there.
Okay. This one?
There we go.
Yeah, great. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So, when
Okay,
you,
so
okay, yes, okay, yeah, good.
Oh, this
Perfect.
looks amazing. Wow.
all right. Sorry, this one is pretty long, but I will just read it. So Ryan is a preschool student with special needs and diagnosed with autism. So he is a bright kid, but with some challenges when it comes to following instructions and doing work by himself. So he basically needs needs assistance from teacher assistant for sure. Most of the time, he needs assistance in finishing a task and gets frustrated when distracted. His reading and speaking comprehension in English are average level because the mother speaks English too. So it's helping him actually. And average level, some repetition of words and visual aids. However, when it comes to participation in class, he usually can't focus and always get reprimanded for his behavior. So Ryan actually has some moments like if somebody will distract him or something, he'd just blow or explode. So he doesn't really like to be distracted. Like he wants to do on his own, space. So that's something that the teacher actually needs to work out during that period of time. He usually can focus and then he is active and playful with other students, but when he doesn't get what he wants, then he can strike easily or show signs of violence. So there was one instance before where he just used the pen and then just hit the boy. So it's not a good behavior. So parents are aware of his needs both in school and at home, which means they send him for therapy. So he goes for therapy every day right after school. And actually he was actually half day only. So in the afternoon he goes to the therapy and every day. So that's his routine. The instructional approach for this case is a little bit different in a way that a lesson for the day will be the same for the rest of the class, but a take-home assignment is based on individual needs. So the teacher usually kind of work around with what the kids needs and need, and then Ryan is different, so he's kind of in a very slow pace actually, but he's learning over the time. It depends on what level of learning and understanding they have. During his time in school, he was on a conditional admittance for a year with a regular assessment and quarterly evaluation of his academic progress. So for a year, he was on every 4 months, I would say, and then they will give it to the head of school for evaluation at the end of the school year. However, the school decided to admit him officially the next year with a continuous therapy and a special teacher assistant who specializes or knows how to handle this type of case. So the school actually asked the parents if they can provide a teacher assistant who specializes in autistic behavior, because some teacher assistant from that school, they don't know how to manage. So it was not easy for them. Okay, my questions will be what type of instructional approach that's best for his learning potential needs. What will be the consequences if a behavioral issue will arise? So obviously parents will be involved for this because it's different, and teachers as well. What physical activities that will help practice his social skills with a positive attitude towards peers? And the last one is, does he need more time one-on-one to determine his ability to follow instructions and finish a task? So that's my first case. Okay. Okay, the next one is Anna. Anna is when she came to school, she was homeschooled before that. So this 2 years ago, it was her first time to come to our school. So he's a German Chinese girl, so English is not really her first language in the house or at home. So she has a little exposure to English. So English level isn't quite good, especially listening and speaking. I think because she's more comfortable talking in Chinese because the mother is Chinese and the dad is German. So English is not really like, the medium of communication at home. So both parents are non-native English speakers, and her first few months were difficult to socialize with other students because it's an international school, so most of the students there speak English. So she kind of feel intimidated or shy because of her English ability. Also, her class were mostly with Asian descent, so it was hard for her to connect. The parents are well off, and the reason why she was homeschooled was they traveled a lot to different countries. So I think because of the family business, so the parents decided to just homeschool her for a few years and then decided to send her to school. To be able to gain that confidence in both English speaking and listening, she needed to take extra time for ESL support and join after-school activities to develop her social skills as well as her English skills. So I remember the homeroom teacher asked me or told me that one of the ESL teacher in school didn't give a lot of time for her. So it was a challenge for Anna to cope up with the rest of the class because her English is not that good compared to the other students. Do you have any questions? Okay. So questions will be what ESL support needed, what method of ESL will be best. It's either push in or pull out. So in my previous school, the ESL teacher just did push in, so no pull out. Oh, I mean pull out, no push in method. What activities will encourage Anna to practice her English and social skills at the same time? Okay. Kind of interesting, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, last one, finally. So my last case study is about Brennan. So Brennan is actually an American boy who moved to China because of his dad's nature of work. So he came to our school 11th grade, and he's actually a gifted child. He's a bright boy. Okay, Brennan moved to China because of his dad's nature of work, and he had to switch from a local school in the US to an international school here in China. So it was a big step for him, and his level of English command is excellent. The school labeled him as gifted, and he was highly advanced kid and needed to take courses in a university level. Therefore, the school had to introduce more advanced courses in APs and other English related subjects in preparation for his application at MIT. So Brennan actually ended up at MIT. He graduated last year and in MIT now. On the other hand, his social skill needed more attention as he prefers to be on his own space than making friends most of the time. Over time, he's learning how to explore his interests in a social way to gain confidence with his peers. During his last year in school, he decided to be a teacher assistant, which is actually a good thing for him, to help other students with other English and teaching difficult math skills as well.
Oh, it's probably really good for his university application.
Yeah, actually. I think one of the teacher before encouraged him to do teach at least before graduating. Yeah. So my question will be, what advanced method can we use to help his preparation for university? What activities that would encourage or motivate him to find interest, to learn new skills, involve him in after-school activities? And then how would we help and assist him for being a teacher assistant? So we left before he graduated, so I don't know what the assessment after he did the teaching assistant, but I think, yeah, he did well. The end. Any questions? Sorry, that was long.
So now we have to choose one to discuss, right?
Yeah, I think so. Or should we just go all of us and then we can choose?
Oh, yeah. Okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, I will stop sharing. There you
go. Right.
Okay, who's next?
I feel a bit embarrassed because I didn't make a PPT. I just made some notes in a Word doc because I didn't even think we were going to be sharing things. So
I was also really low key. And you did such a good job.
And I've had difficulty in the, I'll try this.
You want to screen share?
Okay, so I'll see if I can bring this Word. Okay, so when we made the videos last week, I was going to record myself on Zoom, and I had difficulty. Oh, hang on, documents, Zoom. No, I might not be able to share this with you because for some reason I can't. Maybe I could just try and do a screen share, and maybe that.
It's okay.
Yeah, it's a new computer, and it's
you can do this.
I'm glad I'm doing this now, not with the whole cohort trying to share my.
Yeah, it's gonna be a disaster for me too.
Yeah, for some reason I can't share things. It's like a security thing, and I unlock it, and it's unlocked, and then it doesn't. So I'm actually just gonna read. I'll just open it up, and I'll read it to you. Sorry about this. So let's find my document, my case studies. Okay, so the first student, so all of these kids are about 15, 16, 17 years old. So Lauren, she just arrived at the school, and she's a scholarship student, and she's come from public school. So she's arriving at this international school. She's come from Chinese public school. And most of the kids at the school are really, really wealthy. Okay, but she's a scholarship student. However, she's in a class with all the other scholarship students. These are kind of like, our school basically plucks the brightest from public schools. And they all go to Oxford, and it looks really great for our school. Anyway, She's self-taught, incredibly
Okay.
motivated. In addition to the regular AS subjects that most kids take, she's also taking subjects like Islamic studies. Of course, there isn't an Islamic studies teacher at our school, but she's just doing
Interesting.
self-study.
Mhm.
So I've written here, she's unaware of social norms. So for example, like when you should point out that someone has made an error without being blunt. So my example is in a peer correction activity, in which the aim was to assess a classmate's structure of an essay. She gave them detailed feedback on their vocabulary and grammar. So I actually removed that from her document because I thought that would come back to bite her. You know, I thought the kids might resent her a little. The other thing is she lacks popular culture knowledge. She's kind of stuck in the 19th century. She loves history. She's quite unusual. Like she could give you a lecture on the Medicis. She's
Wow.
yeah, so she's kind of an outsider, and you can see that the other kids are a little bit like, who is this person? I think she's phenomenal, but I'm 41 years old. I like history. So I'd say the biggest problem for her is relating to other classmates and not seeming arrogant. Okay, next one, Tony. I actually taught Tony 3 years ago, but I'll never forget him. So he wouldn't communicate. He would sit there scribbling quite aggressively on his paper. And in the break, he'd listen to like hardcore punk music, like really loud in the classroom. And he never completed homework. He actually ended up being expelled because he was kind of fixated on another student in an inappropriate way. So that's Tony. Next student is Van, who I believe comes from a very wealthy family. I think I saw him being picked up in a Maserati. Really, really low level English abilities. And I spoke to his maths teacher today, and he was also kind of average at maths, which most Chinese kids are above average. Really nice kid, but my suspicion was that he had been admitted into the school through a bit of guangxi, through a bit of, family ties. But a nice kid, got along with all the other kids. There was an incident where he took a particular disliking to a psychology teacher, and he wrote some really horrible things in Chinese about her. And also there was a bit of plagiarism. I caught him, he copied off another kid as well. Yeah, so those are my 3 kids. And I think that I approached the assignment in the wrong way because my questions were more along the track of how do we know, like, what questions do we need to ask ourselves when it comes to differentiation. So these are my questions. Does the student appear to be disengaged, sleeping, non-participation? Does the student repeatedly fail to hand in homework or hand in homework which has been copied or completed with minimal effort? Does the student appear an outsider with few friends? So apologies. I think that's why I was looking at the paper before. I was like, oh, have I read this wrong? Yeah, so those are my 3. So we've got Lauren, who's the high achiever, but a bit of an outsider. Tony clearly had some psychological problems. And Van, who had got into the school through family ties and was really struggling academically. Yeah. And I'm going to, yeah. So those are mine.
Okay, the last one, Anna. Woohoo. Woohoo.
So after Anna goes, then we just discuss. So I think I also read the thing assignment wrong because I went through just my one kid. Even though I did the other ones, but I hadn't like made it into like pretty yet.
That's okay. I think when I asked Miss Jenny, she said we have to submit our cases, the 3 cases, ourselves, like individual cases, and then we can discuss as a group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
You have time. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And then we also just submit this recording also, right?
Right. Yes.
Oh, I think I need to leave the meeting and then give the access for my sharing, I think. But I can also read and then do that and then come back. I don't know what's best. Okay, so I can read my cases.
Okay.
So yes, so first case, we have Kate, who is a 13-year-old student who attends to 8th grade at an international school. She has presented social emotional challenges, especially impulsivity, and she's easily frustrated when things don't go as she expected. Additionally, she has presented reading comprehension difficulties, and she is currently 2 years below her grade level. Teachers have differentiated in her setting, providing her with a separate study area to take tests. However, her resistance to receiving support results in low performance across multiple sites. So my questions would be, has the student been referred for formal learning support? Have the teachers had conversations with kids to brainstorm why she's frustrated sometimes? And has the counselor been involved? So, and my suggestions would be, have the students selected from a variety of reading texts that match her reading click style, because I think the previous school also did the test, the map test, so they could see her level. And I think that would be easy for her to match text. So at the same time, the whole classroom would read the same text, but her level would be lower, so she can practice more. Then second one, provide the students with brief information about today's activities. So that would be helpful for her to cope with her anxiety and her frustration. So like in the beginning of the lesson, she would get a brief information so she can prepare herself. And third one, teach her coping strategies in partnership with the counselor. So she definitely needs some counseling support. So she is not really stressed when the things go as not expected. This is my case 1. Case 2, David is a 7-year-old boy who attends 7th grade at an international school. His parents are from Turkey and have moved recently to Europe. David is highly motivated in math, reading, and manual activities that require higher level thinking at his grade level. So he's really good at math and doing something that requires him thinking. Additionally, he enjoys jokes. He laughs and he hugs his teacher every time he walks into the classroom. So he's a really nice and bright kid when he's in a good mood. When activities require slow process, such as writing or editing words or lines or sentences, or maybe when activities need to be competitive, so David gets easily frustrated and yells at the teacher and students, because I think he also feels pressured. And sometimes he also reaches for sharp objects and uses profane language and tries to run away from the classroom.
Yikes.
Teachers have been working to differentiate by providing him with challenging activities and giving him frequent breaks when he feels frustrated. So my questions would be, has the student been referred for formal learning support? Has the counselor been involved? Have the parents been contacted? Because clearly some of his struggles come from family background, I guess. So the things that I would suggest first is to communicate with the parents about his challenges and safety regulations at the school, because obviously reaching for sharp objects and using profane language is not really allowed and appropriate to the classroom environment and other kids. Second one, seek counseling support from the school counselor, because he really needs to work on his behavioral issues. Third, remove sharp objects away from all students when they're not required. Fourth, provide the students with brief information about today's activities. I guess he also is same as the first case. He's frustrated when he doesn't know what to do, and he is not prepared for the day. Case 3. So case 3 is recent. I just named the case 3 different name. So Jonas is a Japanese student who attends 5th grade at an international school in Korea. He likes playing video games on his computer and solving math problems at his grade level. Jonas is a kind student to his classmates. However, he has complained to his teachers about diminishing comments about his home country. So I don't know if you know that, but Korea and Japan are not really good friends. So being in Korea as a Japanese, it's sometimes is a challenge.
Yeah.
Additionally, Jonas has shown challenges in reading comprehension due to the fast and careless reading pace. Teachers have differentiated for him by sitting him near positive peers and reminding him to take his time finishing reading comprehension assignments. So my questions in this case would be, have the parents been informed about reading difficulties and social emotional interactions with other students? Have the teachers addressed the negative comments to the classroom? So I mean, like, have they discussed the problem, and because he definitely needs support from his teachers? Third question would be, are other students are speaking out about Jonas' social challenges? Are they support Jonas, or is he just like alone there by himself? So I would suggest to inform the parents about his challenges at school first. Then for his reading, use a timer to model reading fast, versus comprehension, to show that reading fast is not usually good. So at the end, he doesn't really understand the text, so he really needs to take his time on reading. Third, have an age-appropriate conversation with the classroom about racism and nationalism. The last one, to seek counseling support from the school counselor, because obviously the student needs some support on his problem with the classmates, and I think also the whole classroom needs a lesson on Japanese and Korean cultures, and maybe to explain that it's not really nice to bully your colleague in an international school. I will just try to maybe share my screen when we decide which case we're gonna discuss. If we're gonna, so now I think we have to discuss each of us one of the cases, or
we need to choose.
Okay. So we discussed Maddie's case.
Yeah, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Did I go back? Do you want me to go share my screen just so we can reread what I kind of wrote?
Okay.
That's easy. I lost it. Can you see anything? Can you see my screen?
Teachnow page.
Oh,
Teach
cool.
now.
Okay, nice. Let me just get up. Chill. Okay. How do we want to just like start the discussion? Just like what are some? I mean, we kind of already talked about it a little bit. I
Yeah.
liked how Suzanne, you were talking about like the push in versus pull out method. And Joe, you were also saying that as well with your child pushing or in what way? Push her in or pulling her out? Pushing her in to like the Chinese school.
I guess it depends on if you're focusing on receptive or productive skills, right? So receptive would be just that he's, you know, absorbing everything like a small child will.
Right.
And then the push out, you know, productive skills. I mean, he's got to be motivated. He's got to have a reason to want to express himself. Yeah, so you need to provide that kind of motivation. And he's 5 years old, right?
5, yeah.
Yeah, so that's going to be through games where he wants to, like, you know, have his part, have his say, which I mean, I've never taught this age group, so I'm not sure. But I'm guessing games where he's really wants to have his say and he's motivated to express himself.
For sure. Okay. Yeah, I really like
last week. I also had I stopped in pre-K4, so they were like 5 years old. So we also had these cases when kids were not fully English speaking kids. So the teacher would actually have, you know, they have couches, they have like a soft pillows, so she would sit with these kids and sometimes to like try to talk to them. So they wouldn't actually speak sentences, but she would like repeat that word and use that word in a sentence. So maybe that would also help.
Okay. Yeah, cool.
Maybe also culturally, like, you know, he's Chinese, he might, if it's an activity where he has to like say something about his culture, you know, he might be motivated because he, you know, he wants to share something about his culture.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think like in my previous school, we did International Day, so everyone can express their, you know, freedom to be, you know, from where they are. And, you know, it's also the other way to just, you know, talk with other kids and can, you know, don't feel isolated or alone, especially if you're the only boy or student can't speak English.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Did you guys read this one? It was one of the resources, like what are the different types of learners?
That's from
really useful. Yeah, like all the different types. Logical, mathematical, auditory, visual. I thought it was quite cool. Like for Bill, like what do you think? Like, are you able to get a feel for what he might be? Like, do you think he's more of a visual learner or a logical, mathematical?
I feel like a mix of visual and mathematical because he is Chinese, so I feel like he has that higher level of like numbers and maths.
Yeah. It's like he needs a plan. He needs to know exactly like what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. Especially since he's so like he's so young and like, and coming in somewhere where he doesn't really speak the language. It's probably
it's difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, he'll pick it up. No problem.
Yeah, eventually.
How they observe it.
It's a long way. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he'll get there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe, do you want to go? Or Suzanne, do you want to go?
Okay. Oh, screen share again. Oh my goodness. Okay, anyways, the challenge of technology. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know. I think I would. We're going to choose, eh?
Yeah.
Which
Which
kid?
kids do you like?
I think I would go with case number 3, Brennan's case.
Yeah, me too.
The
I also
gifted
that.
child, because I don't really see a lot of this kind of, students where like, especially where like the school before. So for me, it's like as a teacher, it's like really challenging to just think about like a plan for him because he's the only one with different, type of like lesson. And actually my husband taught him APs before. So it's like several different APs for him so that he can be prepared for university. And it's just his case is different because the rest of the kids are kind of lower than him, like when in terms of academic, but in other aspect too, like social skills, he's down than the others. So
Yeah.
I think that's something he needs to work out. I think the student teaching is actually a good way for him to develop the
Absolutely.
his social skills and make friends. Because I know if you're smart, you just focus on your thing. You have to finish. You have to, but not all the kids actually. But some kids will really feel kind of alone sometimes because others can relate to you. Like they're more play than doing your so I think I will choose Brennan. I think. Do you have other questions?
Yeah, I think like if
Or you have your student
academically super high, so for him to stay at the 12th grade, if you have in China, 12th grade is like there is no point. But if he wants to work on his social emotional stuff and cases, so I think it's better to maybe work with the learning support, because sometimes these people can't then be by themselves in the university. So it's like the whole adult life, and they cannot handle that. So that could also affect their academic life later on.
Yeah, I think it's also cultural too. Like, it's his first time to move to China, so he doesn't really know what to expect. And, he's used to having American friends and, so I think that's the other reason why. But I think hopefully, well, he's going back to America, so it's probably,
When did he move to China? How long has he been in China for?
Only a year and a half, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he graduated and moved back to America, MIT. Yeah. Actually, 2 years, 2 years. Yeah.
Nice experience for him.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it's just if the dad is not in China, he probably won't move. So, yeah. Yeah.
Like, was he okay? Like, socially, like, did he have many friends? Like, did he have trouble fitting in, or was he okay?
Well, he's like this type of boy who doesn't like, he's more comfortable with his own thing. And but it's not easy for him to make friends easily.
Yeah.
Especially if it's outside like his class, like he doesn't know how to reach out or to kind of interact with other younger kids or other, class. He just, I don't know how, but I was in his class, because I was like, doing assisting for the teacher. So I'm not really sure, but my husband said he was really kind of like a loner type of boy.
So
But he's
like
friendly if you talk to him, but he's not someone who, hey, come, let's play, or let's play basketball or something like that. No.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
sorry.
Oh, sorry. Like, what's the makeup of nationalities in your international school? Is it mostly Chinese kids? Is it mostly Chinese kids or
Yeah, mostly Chinese kids, but we have Koreans, American, German.
okay.
So it's probably 15 nationalities, just the kids.
Gosh.
Yeah. But it's like small portion of Korean, and then Chinese is big.
Mm.
So
And do they
then American too.
cluster together? Like, do they just sort of like break into their different nationalities and like hang out with people from the same country as them?
Most of when I've noticed that these kids, especially if it's recess or snack time or whatever, they really play with other kids, especially if they're in the playground, if we have events in school.
Yeah.
So they're really interacting with other kids. But in the classroom, it's difficult because mostly they're 5 Chinese, 1 Korean. So it's kind of like a diverse class, I would say. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Who wants to go next?
I guess I'll go.
Okay, let's do that. I'll stop
so,
share. Okay.
Which one do you want to discuss? The high achiever Lauren, who's stuck in the 19th century, or Tony? I mean, I think Tony's quite difficult because I think that he really needed
That's the behavior problem, eh?
Yeah. And then Van, maybe Van's the most interesting because, you know, obviously he'd got into the school through his family ties and his money, and didn't actually have the ability to be there.
Right.
So I think he might be the most interesting one to discuss. I don't know. You guys can choose. Like, I don't think I want to discuss Tony because I think
wanted to
do
discuss
Van.
Tony. He's quite a
It's like
character.
most.
Let's do Van then.
And he got kicked
Let's
out
do
of the
that.
school.
Let's do the last one.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I taught him 2 years ago, and at the time my approach was I just left him to it. I didn't differentiate at all. Yeah, which was probably a little bit slack of me. So what's your advice for me for Van these days? Like if I were to have him in my class now, what do you think I should do?
Did you know that he had like his family had a lot of money and that's why he got into the school?
No, that's something I've figured out in hindsight and from like talking to other teachers. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So at the time I was just like, he's weak in English. He must be a maths genius or he must be a physics genius. And now I found out, no, he wasn't any of those things. He didn't have any special talents.
Oh,
Yeah. Because that's what we get at our school. We get these kids who are like, they're phenomenal at chemistry, but then the English is quite weak.
Yeah.
And they're channeled. They're like, just stick to the sciences and don't worry about your English grade. Yeah.
Are there many of the same in his situation? Like their English level is very low and then but they excel in like other things.
Yeah, exactly. It's getting better each year. Like the level of English is improving with our students because the school is they actually said we're not allowing kids to school anymore based purely on family ties. So it has improved a lot, but we do still get kids who their receptive skills are really good. So listening, reading, no problem, but productive skills, writing, speaking, not so good. Which I would say for Van, although actually, if you'd seen my Word document, I'd written that he wouldn't respond to his name. So he wasn't even used to hearing his English name. So I'd be like, Van, what do you think? And he'd be like, oh, because the other kids would be like nudging him, like, it's you.
That's your name. Oh, interesting.
So interesting.
Yeah, that's a difficult case because I think maybe he also knows that he comes from a wealthy family and he came through like someone else.
Yeah.
So he might feel like, okay, I'm just gonna pass on this, and like it's okay for me, like not to speak English that well, because at the end people are gonna know that I'm a special one that has money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Did so going like my law and policy assignment
Mhm.
was no foul law in Thailand. So like these kids can like just show up to class and not do any work and they will pass. They will move up grades.
Oh wow.
Wow.
It's crazy.
What?
That kind of reminds me of like what you're saying about Van, like not really doing any work, but he has the money. So
That's
he's
why he can go, yeah.
yeah, it's
Mm.
wild.
But I guess at the end, they will have to study, they will have to go to universities, and
Yeah, they have to pass though. I mean, it's gonna
Mhm.
show their record somehow. I don't know.
and SATs if they go to the States, like
Yeah.
if they want to go to the States, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
that's
right.
on them.
We're just
Yeah.
in the workforce,
Yeah.
basically. If you want a job in
Yeah,
the
for
future.
sure. Mm.
Yeah. So I suppose what I would think about now these days if I had another
So you
van.
still have Van in your class, like he's still
Yeah.
in your class. Ah,
No. He's
not anymore.
I don't know where he is now, but he graduated last year.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
I'm not really sure what happened to him,
Mm.
but I wonder if yeah, maybe I'd go for a little more like goal setting. I would put him under the logical mathematical. Yeah.
Mm.
So logical learners thrive when structure is abundant. So maybe he would need a little more structure, some checklists. And I would also, I felt like maybe like buddying him up with somebody, like someone who was a little more high level.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea actually.
Yeah.
Buddy. Yeah,
Like
we
a
have
little-
that before in school, buddy reading, where kids can teach English speaker can teach the non-native speaking. So
Yeah.
that's a good, yeah,
Yeah.
way.
or like a learning center situation where like you just
Yeah.
have groups of kids and like strong and weak together or like same level, and you can focus like as a teacher, like you can focus on one group who's like struggling more with it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Shall we move on to the next one? Do you feel like we're
Okay.
done with Van?
Anna, yeah, we're stuck to Van, eh? I'm
Now
thinking
you can
about
see my
that.
screen. You can see now my screen?
Yes.
Ooh, okay. So I guess I will speak to the first case because she was, I didn't mention that here, but she was adopted also. And she came to an international school, so the adopting parents were also wealthy. They were Christians. They would go to the church, but like she's at that age that when she was questioning herself also. So I guess that's why she was also mad and she was frustrated when she didn't actually know what to do and when she had challenges. So that was also like, I think, first and foremost, she needed not only the counselor's support, but also psychological and maybe to see what is her deal. Maybe she didn't knew who she was, because at this age you're questioning who are you, and if you don't really know who are your biological parents, so I think that might be also like stressful.
Yeah.
And maybe also other kids would know that she is adopted, so maybe she would receive some comments in that. So yeah, that she was a rebellious one. I guess she also wanted, that was like her self-defense that also dragged everything to like her academics, and that's why she was 2 years below her grade level. So I guess like for like first step would be for me to like maybe really talk to the parents and maybe figure out the help for her to actually see the psychologist, have the learning support for her, because it's also really, really, really difficult and really challenging at this age to like stick to the maybe to academics and have a good relationship with her classmates, and not to be involved in any other bad influences outside of the school, where actually the school cannot control her after school. So yeah, what are your thoughts on this case?
Has she got friends in the class, like, or
She
is she
was
kind of
she
outsider?
would talk to the classmates, but she also had, as far as, because this is my husband's case, so he said that she would have like this friend that would be from different schools, so she would also like start smoking with them, and do other illegal stuff. Yeah, so
Right.
the classmates would be, maybe, they would see that that she's going through something.
So how's her relationship with her parents, like home environment somehow?
As far as I know, she would talk that like her parents would fight, and maybe she also would feel that it's her fault, that she's adopted and something goes wrong and she's not really good at at school. So I guess like it would be her defense to like later on at school to just curse or just tell that stuff to the teachers. So I think that would be that
reason.
Yeah. What do you think would be the best for her to, like, in terms of reading and improving her academics?
Reading specifically, did you?
Do you have an ESL program at your school?
Like in this case, reading for grade level. Sorry?
Do you have an ESL like a separate class for ESL?
Yeah.
Does she go to that?
Yeah, she would go, but she was really like, defensive. She wouldn't do anything. She would just sit there. I don't want to do anything. You don't know anything. Like, my parents pay for you for nothing. You don't really help me. So she would really like push the help from herself, and she wouldn't let anyone help her.
Yeah, maybe the teacher should re-strategize her, way. Because if you're a teacher, you can't let that kid, overrule you or disrespect your teaching. It's just she won't learn that way. She will just keep resisting. Yeah.
I wonder with Kate if it would be about figuring out what she really likes, like what's her favorite genre, like what's the thing that she's really into, and like try to find a book that she likes, that she's interested in, and even a book that is somehow connected to a movie or a TV show, so she can like be rewarded with like, okay, we've read this much of the book and now we're going to watch a little bit of the show. Try to give her a little more autonomy so that she's kind of deciding what she's going to learn learn about. Like that the input is interesting for her, rather than you're going to do Hamlet or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the kids at school love Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah.
It's actually really nice.
I love the movie.
It's just hard to read.
Yeah.
As well. I always think it's great if you can treat them with a little bit of film.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah. Sounds like she's going through a really hard time.
Yeah, so I think she needs therapy, because it's really difficult for the teachers, and even like learning support was, because my husband was learning support, so it was like really difficult for him to reach out to her. You would have to like really give her space and time to just like calm down and think and sit by herself. Yeah, but it's like if that happens every day. Yeah.
Gosh, This is making me appreciate the context in which I teach. I feel like most of the kids at my school are pretty easygoing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, so
dear.
you like even now I can compare like Lithuanian schools and like Korean school. I can't imagine a Korean kid telling bad words to his teachers.
Yeah.
So, you know, screaming and shouting bad words to other colleagues, like it's not, yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it's not acceptable.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are we gonna do next after this? Do you have any idea?
I think we're done.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
Are
we just
we?
hit the Zoom and
yeah.
We're like 7:05. That's okay.
So if we stop it,
Mm.
where does the recording go? To my computer? To everyone's computer?
I think
your
your
My
Yeah.
computer.
yeah,
It'll go
yeah. So you have to send the link. Yeah, submit the
Okay.
link.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm scared I'm gonna like lose it in like cyberspace.
Yeah, I know. I think you need to submit it first. Maybe if you can do it to the Google Drive, to the group
Oh,
cohort, and then submit it to the
Okay.
Good idea.
platform.
Or
Yeah.
I'll send you guys an email. Do you want me to email you
Okay.
the link also? Do you want everyone to submit it or
Yeah,
just
you could.
submit it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But only one can. Yeah, only one link to be in
Yeah,
the
I'll
platform.
send you my email in the cohort.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Because that seemed like the people would share the link for the Zoom
Yeah, I think it's
conversation.
all
So,
linked. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not sure with the infographic, but because I saw some submission there with their
Oh.
YouTube, so I don't know what to do.
I haven't
It's-
started
I
mine yet.
It's still recording. Maybe we should stop recording.
Maybe we should stop and just like come back if you want.
Okay, I'm hitting stop. I'm
Okay.
scared.